Broski, it's that time again. Time for me to show you the best and most brutal indie games coming in February. Let's go! Starting the month off is the most brutal, most savage freaking game out there. A game that started off as indie, but now is being published by Deep Silver. Still, it is a game that is very well worthy of being put into the list. A game that I know that I will never ever play. A game demanding far too much patience from the player for me to find it enjoyable. But the fact of the matter is that none of that makes it a bad game. It still looks like a brilliant game, and just as with the first, you will either love it or hate it, thanks to its out-of-this-world immersion and hardcoreness. Now, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a thrilling story-driven action RPG with a rich open world set in the 15th century medieval Europe. And yes, you will have to manage both hunger, sleep, thirst, sickness, and a ton more stuff. And it far from stops there with its immersion. As you swing a blade, it becomes as realistic as it possibly can in today's day and age. I mean, when you swing a sword, it depends all on where you hit your enemy with it. If the enemy is wearing clothes, if it has armor, if you hit the leg, if you hit the head, it is massively realistic and very immersive. Now, I could keep jabbing about the game's immersion and realisticness for another 15 minutes, but what I want to say is that it is without a doubt the most realistic hardcore medieval experience out there, and the second installment in the series simply seems to take everything to new levels. And I would be lying if I said that I won't be watching someone play the crap out of this on YouTube, because I will. I find these immersive experiences very interesting and fun to watch, just not as fun to play. So broskis, who is going to stream this in the Discord? Let me know in the comments. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 drops on the 4th of February. I was just about to finally play the demo of this game, but guess what? Just the same day as I was about to hit download is the same day that they removed the demo from Steam. Oh well, better luck on the 6th of February when the game actually drops. But what is this game? Well, to put it simple, Zorn is a Hades-like game. As said from one of the broskis, Tombstone, who actually played the demo, it's Hades with co-op more or less. And I kinda like that, but it is playable completely solo as well if you want to. And furthermore, it has 4 different playable characters, all with distinct playstyles, weapons and attributes. Some sweet, gory, cel-shaded graphics that really makes the blood pop, and what looks to be some satisfying gameplay overall. I wish I could talk more about the upgrades, enemies and levels, but if you're like me, then we're going to have to wait until the 6th of February before we can actually find out more. Jesus, holy macaroni balls. Oh. Now this game, man, this freaking game blew my mind, broskis. When I first looked at it, I went, yeah, I mean, it looks fun, but looks like it's aimed towards a younger audience. Looks almost like a bit Spyro in a way. I thought, yeah, this is probably going to be a super easy game that simply looks pretty good. And I think that not once in my entire 34 years alive have I been more wrong. This game kicks serious ass, I tell ye. Sure, it's not very hard, but it goes deep on the combat, and so far I've only played a bit of the demo, so the full game might as well go a lot harder for all I know. Now the combat is phenomenal. You got combos, weapons and items that can be picked up and used absolutely everywhere. A special attack and 4 different heroes that you can switch between seamlessly whenever you want to. All of the heroes also boast different abilities and attacks. One might be dual wielding daggers and has a super fast attack speed, while others is slower with a great sword that goes swang swong, and it feels amazing, moving and jumping around, slashing your enemies. And this gives you a general idea of how the combat is set up, but the mind-blowing thing is that it carries this depth and variety throughout the game. The levels in the demo alone changes perspective on the camera, goes from side-scroller to top-down, lets you navigate a deadly maze, destroy props, fight enemies, and hell, even a boss. Simply put, this game kicks major loads of butt in a good way, and it does it in every single aspect, from graphics, combat to level design and storytelling. Experience this epicness on the 6th of February. Now I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of this game, it's simply too hard for me, and that goes for the game itself as well. It is a hard one. Taking place in an alt-history cyberpunk Poland, it will test your wits, skills and stealth to the absolute highest degree, but don't let that scare you off. The game's vibes and atmosphere will suck you right in, making it oh so much easier to actually go stealth and to use your brain to complete the objective at hand. And if you ever thought that you played a game that lets you do things the way you want to, well, then you never played this game. I have never played a game that lets you tackle objectives and navigate the world in such a free form as this one. Sometimes even a wee bit too much. Y'all know I like just a little bit of hand-holding to get me on the right path. But every time I played this, both demo and early access release that drops on the 21st of February, I managed to stray far off from the main path. So much so that I eventually got completely lost. And that is every time that I booted up this game thus far. So a little tip from me, read the quests and don't always let the world suck you in too much. Even though it's not necessary, sometimes it is good following the instructions to actually progress. Spacepunk Survival is a multiplayer first-person shooter where you and your teammates must survive for as long as you can in the dark and hostile environments of the Lapidus Station, a once thriving laboratory which is now overrun by monstrous alien creatures, boasting, as we can see, some very crunchy retro graphics. And I did play a very early version of this game way back when, and that version was very rough. The problem is that I don't know what they have changed or improved upon, but I love the premise of this game and I like that it is actually pitch black throughout. Losing each other is very much an option in this game and it kind of feels extremely hardcore, but in a very arcadey way. The guns, monsters, the hit feedback, all of that really leans into the more arcadey version more than tactical realistic. But at the same time it incorporates a lot of tactics to it. I remember even accidentally shooting my teammate because we lost each other, and then all of a sudden I just saw this suit walking around in the dark, which made me shoot first and ask questions later. Moments like that are simply epic and unforgettable, and I'm really hoping that a lot more people can have unforgettable and epic moments like that on the 6th of February when the game releases, but in a less rougher state than I had. My gamer instincts are tingling. Classic 2D side-scroller with some crunchy pixel art? Yep, exactly that and a lot more. Metal Suits offers a rich story, destructible environments, 9 different planets, which, judging from the demo, might not be the longest ever, so I'm guessing it will be a game on the shorter side of playtime. But it also offers metal suits that add some spice to the gameplay. I'm not sure exactly how many there are, but in the demo I got a hold of one that lets you fire a flamethrower, one with a minigun, and one with a super melee attack. Oh yeah, and of course, a guitar that fires electricity. All with their unique special attacks as well. Through and through, a well-crafted side-scroller with some run-and-gun elements as well as a unique mechanic to spice it up, dropping on the 13th of February. Remember, if you like what you're seeing so far, hit that like and subscribe for a ton more stuff like this. I uncover all the obscure, hidden, brutal indie games, so you don't have to look. I got it. But you will have to hit that like and subscribe. Also, hit the comment, let me know what game are you most excited for in February. I know the video is not over yet, but be prepared to drop a comment once you've seen all the games. And while you're at it, join the Discord, link down in the description, make some new friends, and cover even more obscure hidden gems out there. If you don't like it, you're free to leave whenever you want to, I think. Maybe wait, I might have deleted the leave button. Consider this one a bit of a bonus game from my side. It's a puzzle horror game with some twists and twerks to spice up the gameplay, like the actual puzzles consisting of puppet stages that can be both rotated and moved around. But what I really like about it is its art style. Set in a puppet show, we play as one of the puppets trying to get out of this place of madness. Now the developer describes the inspiration to come from folks like Tim Burton and Junji Ito and A24 Films, and I can really see that. I really like it as well. To make it even better, the storytelling is apparently shifting as we progress through the game, going from almost feeling like a Tim Burton movie and then transitioning to Junji Ito's horror style. A freaking great concept if you ask me, but puzzles are the front and center of this game, and it drops on the 5th of February.
He has made my flesh and my skin waste away.
You and your teammates are part of an elite undercover unit tasked with finding out information on a mysterious complex known as the Backrooms. Explore various locations, solve puzzles, check your six, and escape with your life. That's Lamentations for you, a co-op horror FPS set in the Backrooms, and that means that we actually have guns when entering the Backrooms this time around. Yeah. Hopefully it will feel great busting these horrifying monsters that have plagued us in the Backrooms for years now, but it will not be guns blazing in this game because it is leaning a lot more into the tactical extraction shooter side of things. Whereas at the end of a run, the loot you collected is stashed on your account. With the loot you can then buy new gear for your loadout that you can carry on to the next round, and it includes both a PvE and PvPvE mode in the traditional extraction shooter way. If you die, however, everything you had on you is lost. So be careful out there in this retro-looking modern Backrooms extraction shooter on the 22nd of February. Oh yeah, a classic looking good old run and gun game. But wait, this one isn't what first meets the eye. Oh no, Gelato Games has taken the old school run and gun formula, created some gorgeous looking pixels, and put it in what looks like the Cold War era, maybe? Sorry, it's apparently a Rambo looking dude in the near future, not the Cold War era. I mean, hell, we got mechs and stuff in the game, so duh. Oh well, they took all of that and made a Metroidvania out of it. We get to explore a huge interconnected world, find new abilities and weapons, and of course save the world from the evil industrialist A. Easton. I like what they have done to the run and gun formula here, for you see, most run and gun games are fairly simple. A few bosses, a couple of enemy types, and a few levels. But this takes all of that and adds in over 10 bosses, weapons, abilities, vehicles like mechs, secrets, destructible environments, handcrafted 16-bit graphics, alternate endings, over 100 unique items, and of course, the Metroidvania aspect. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to check this game out sometime in February. The sequel to the unforgiving, brutally punishing masterpiece called Jump King. Let me introduce Jump King Quest, adding a lot of new and exciting to the already cool Jump King. Most noticeable is the graphics, from pure pixel art to handcrafted levels and clay-looking characters. And yeah, it looks great. I love this claymation style big time. It also adds in multiplayer, meaning that you can come across players in the big interconnected world that the game offers. The twist is that you can either team up and work together or kill each other. At any given time, a player could turn his back on you and kill you. I remember at the very start of this saying that the first game is brutally punishing. Well, the sequel seems to be no different, but now with an added layer of possible death scenarios. But that also of course means that now there is actual fighting in the game. The original jump mechanic is still here, but it won't be enough to make it all the way to the top in this game. You know, to find a hot babe just waiting for you at the top, releasing sometime in February. I have a feeling that the full game is going to be much more fleshed out than this. The one superhero we all need in our lives, the Soda Man, the savior of the universe, is finally here, and he drops in a Survivors-like form. The Survivor-like games seem to be dropping more and more frequently, hell, even more so than boomer shooters right now. Are we officially entering the Survivors-like era now? Has the Boomer Shooter era worn off? Not sure, but the start of 2025 sure is implying that. Now Soda Man is your very standard Survivors-like game. Having played a bit of the demo, it really didn't do anything out of the ordinary to hook me in, but what it does, it seems to do quite alright. The run-specific upgrades are here. There is a bunch of different weapons to play around with instead of different characters. And then we have the permanent upgrades called implants in this game. I can't really talk too much about it since the demo seemed to lack most of it. I mean, you can see it's there, but you can't really use it. So I'm going to leave this one at great pixel art, a great soundtrack, and your very standard Survivors-like mechanics, dropping on the 17th of February. This is going to be really hard, actually. Now last but absolutely not least is quite the unique little gem. Yes, it is a roguelike or roguelite or whatever the hell the difference is, you know what I mean. But it's like one that you have never played before. Take Skyrim, turn it into an indie game and make it a roguelike. That, my friends, is Darkblade Ascent. A melee-focused game set in a dark fantasy medieval world where magic, swords, spears and hell a lot more weapons rule the kingdom. I had the honor of playing the early access release of it before making this script, and I want to point out that the upgrade system is fun. It doesn't necessarily go that deep, but it's easy to get a grip of and helps motivate you to do another run. The weapons, they're fantastic looking. There are a handful of different weapon variants, like spears, swords, etc, but in each category of weapons, there are a bunch of them, all with different stats and visuals to them. There are a few aspects of the game that could use some improvement though, and that is in its audio and feedback. The audio is simply mixed way too low, and some things are really loud and some things you can't even hear at all. So low that even when on max volume I had a hard time hearing the game. And the feedback of the combat, it could use a bit more punch to it, especially since the game is centered around you learning to dance with your parry and slashes. Making satisfying parries and attacks is everything in this case. But if a dark fantasy, gorgeous looking and very unique roguelike is on your list of things that you want to play, then this is a good option on the 12th of February. Broski, I love you. Thank you a million times for watching all the way to the end. Retention is everything on YouTube, so thank you. Thank you, Broski. And do remember something. Papa Slim, he loves ya. Over and out.